Welcome to Vegas Realty. I'm Trina Larmony. I'm here today with Alex Pearl. She is our resident real estate agent, and I have to say I really want to get right into this, Alex. I know that we've spoken before, and I'm sure the real estate market is changing every day. So tell me, right now I'm a buyer. What's the market look like?
It's a little challenging.
Okay.
You have to be prepared. Basically, you have to make sure that you have done your due diligence beforehand, meaning you've talked to your lender, unless you're buying cash. You've talked to your lender, you've been pre-approved, because there is right now not a lot of inventory. So for all the good homes, they're being snapped up pretty quick, and you have to be ready. If you love a home and you see it, you have to go in and be ready to make an offer.
Okay, so I'm a buyer. What am I looking for so that to get a buyer's agent, agent that is really going to go above and beyond for me? And why is that agent going to be you?
Well, that's a great question, actually. So because you don't want to be disappointed, and you want to be educated along the way, you want to trust the process, you want to be sure that, in the long run, that you are making a good investment, whether or not this is an investment property. Either way, when you're buying a home for an investment or as your own, you still have to look at the long term, the exit strategy, for example. So I never want my clients to overpay for a property. And right now, because there's not enough inventory, meaning that there are not enough sellers and too many buyers, it drives the prices of homes up. Okay. So for the most part, there's multiple offer situations happening often, especially on great properties and great locations. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't find a deal, something that's been on the market for a while, but anything in a good location that's in good shape, you have to be ready to go. So in order to do that, I always have to make sure that my buyers are prepared for that kind of situation, meaning they've already taken a look at their finances, they're pre-approved, so that when they find that home, we can make an offer.
Would you say right now would you ever tell a buyer, hey, look, maybe hold off. Right now it's just, the market is just too hot, and I feel like you won't get the best bang for your buck.
Right. I do. I mean, that's the conversation we have to begin with. So I need to find out what my buyer's situation is. If it's timing, if they're renting, for example, and their lease is up, that changes things. But if they have a little bit more time, then I definitely say, okay, if we have some flexibility and you don't find something that fits you exactly just right, then we wait.
Okay.
I would, again, never want to put my buyer in a situation where they're overpaying or they get, stuck in a position where it's financially not stable for them.
Okay.
That's definitely a conversation we have right up front, hands down.
So we're still seeing maybe a lot of California residents, an influx of those that are probably maybe coming in and even buying cash.
They are, for sure. So it's a little bit different, right? The out-of-state buyers, like the California buyers or the buyers coming from back east,
right?
It's a different situation because they're coming in and our market looks much more affordable to them.
Right.
They've made a ton of equity in their homes, they have a lot of cash, they're paying cash, and they feel like whatever the housing prices are right now, it's a good deal to have.
Okay.
But our local market, not so much. The prices are elevated. So I need to let my local buyers know, okay, well, let's take a look and see, does it make sense? Are you renting? What's your rental payment compared to what you're going to buy?
Right.
Things like that. So there's a lot of things that go into making a decision whether or not right now is the right time for a purchase.
Okay, so let's say I'm a cash buyer and I come in and I've got $500,000. Would you advise me to buy the nicest house in a neighborhood where I can pay cash for $500? Or would you advise me to maybe go into a nicer neighborhood where my $500 doesn't get me the best house in the neighborhood, but it gets me in the door to the nicest neighborhood?
Right. No, that's a good question, because for most people, the real estate is an investment. However, I still need to understand where you're coming from as a buyer. What's important to you? You still have to, if it's going to be a home that's going to be a primary residence, for example, there are still certain criteria that I'm going to ask. What's important to you and or your family? Yes, those are good questions that we have to look for long term, of course, but on the short term, hey, let's make sure that you love this house. It checks the boxes that you need for you and your family: size, location, long term. Are you staying there? Is this your forever home? Is this just like a 3 to 5 year home? Because do you need to live, for example, some people want to be near family, aging parents. So they have to be in a certain location. So we take a look at what's important to a buyer, and then looking long term, whether or not, do you buy in a neighborhood and you're the biggest and best in the neighborhood, or you're the smallest home in a luxury. All those things come into play, but it's holistically, we look at the whole big picture to begin with and see what's the right fit for you.
Alex, I'm a buyer. What are the questions I need to be asking a buyer's agent so that I know that I'm getting the best agent that will help me get the best bang for my buck and get me in the property that's going to make me happy for the rest of my life?
Right,
hopefully.
absolutely. So a couple of things. To begin with, you want to be sure that the person that you pick is typically full-time. This is a business.
Okay.
A lot of times, there are people who jump into real estate because they think it's easy and it's part-time. But truly, to understand the numbers and the economics behind what's happening, those are serious questions, because you're about to make, for most people, one of the biggest decisions and investments that you'll ever make. So you want to be able to trust that the person that you're working with has knowledge, has wisdom, has experience. They're going to be trustworthy as well. It's a very, truly, when you're working with a client, it's an intimate relationship. You have to trust this person that you are going with. They're going to educate you. For example, when I'm working with my client, I want to educate them along the way, because I think that the best clients, the happiest clients, are the most informed clients. And so that's my job, is to help educate my client. Every step. Communication is key. You have to understand what's going on, right? It's also imperative that your agent has contacts, because a lot of times, you have to have a lender. Unless you're paying cash, you need to have a money person who's going to be helping you finance that new home. And you want to make sure that you're getting the best deals. The interest rates are historically low. Now, that does fluctuate depending on every situation, depending on somebody's credit, a buyer's credit. Nonetheless, you want to know that the person that you're working with on the financial end is also experienced and trustworthy. So these are all elements that go into working together when you're buying a home. A lot of times, it's again, people only purchase 1, 2, 3, not more than 4 homes, and they space them out, over a certain period of time. A lot of things change along the way. So you want to have the confidence in your buyer's agent that they are up to date, they're knowledgeable, they're keeping tabs on what's happening, not only with the market, but with the economy, because it really truly is all of these elements that go into, hey, when is the best time to purchase? Is this a good investment for me? Not only, for me and my family, or as an investment, and then long term, what does that look like?
Right.
So,
do you ever end up in a situation where a buyer falls in love with a home and they're starstruck by the home, and they're not necessarily thinking of all the details that you, as a buyer's agent who understand the full realm of things to consider when buying a home, and they've got small children, and it's not necessarily in a good school district? Do you ever have to bring that up and say, you might want to consider these things as well? I know you love the home. Or do you just snap on it and go, okay, let's buy the home?
No, I again, that's part of informing my client and letting them know of all the things that not only that they're thinking about, what's important to their family, but overall. So we talk about, yes, if they have young children, where is the location of the house? Is it in the middle of a busy street? Would you prefer a cul-de-sac? Because if your kids are going to be playing outside, you want to be sure that there's a little bit of safety there. School district, school zone. Are you going to go to a public school? Do you like private schools? the surrounding area. You want to be sure, if somebody's traveling for work, whether it's locally, freeway access, or if they travel out of state, because of course right now with the pandemic, a lot of people can work from home.
Right.
And they can travel to their jobs. Not at all or minimally. So, access to freeways and location, proximity to the airports, things like that.
Yeah.
So we definitely sit down and we talk about, hey, what are your wants list? You put everything on there, and your needs list, and then from there, I tailor the search to what it is that they're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So, in summary, communication is key. An agent that understands your needs versus your wants, also understands your budget and how to get the best fit for you for the money that you have and the loan that might be available to you. So, Alex, how do we get in touch with you?
Very easy. Call, text 702-592-5999. Always available. If I don't answer my phone, it's only because I'm with a client. You can always reach me by text, and there's always somebody there to answer my phone. So anytime, 24/7.
Perfect. I appreciate your time today.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next time.